This is a first, so alphabetical order seems logical. After setting aside the games not worth mentioning, I found Abyss. The game Abyss I recently bought deviates a little from the standard front cover technique. No title, no company logo, no designer, no catchphrase, nothing. Just a face of a merman/mermaid. But wait, the game's company sure knows how to compensate for the absence of title, company logo, etc. in the front of the box. Alternate box covers, 5 of them. I got the green one, and this one reminds me of Charlie the Unicorn covered in fungi. The game itself has a board, huge cardboard locations, small cards, bigger cards, tokens, and the only board game currency that you must compulsively leave inside your shell of a wallet if you don't want to spend the rest of your gaming night searching for it under the furniture. The game even has an extra cell just for the bank. A player's turn is comprised by 3 options: explore the abyss, recruit from the council, or recruit a lord. When exploring the abyss, you might encounter a potential ally, and even if it is the ally you craved and always wanted, even before you learn the game, hold your horses, you can't just take the card. You have to be a gentleman and ask other players if they want your precious ally. They have to pay you, of course, but still, 1 pearl might be a small compensation for that great ally that might give one the opportunity to purchase a lord. Thematically, it might seem a little bewildering, but if you think of the great scheme of political things that might be happening in the council, but don't happen inside the game at all, it makes some sense. Or not. By exploring the abyss further, you leave more allies behind. Allies that are frustrated and feel alone for not being recruited. They have decided to be elected in the council of the abyss, and somehow they make it. And the next player might see those allies with abandonment issues and say, "Hey you, wanna join my cause and help me gather influence, even if I would probably ditch you 20,000 leagues below the surface of the sea if I encountered you during one of my expeditions?" And the selfish would instantly say, "Yay!" leaving its selfishness behind. Taking a lord under your hood is even more absurd. You go to a lord and say, "Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Lord, I have a selfish, a crab, and a seahorse by my side. Wanna join us?" And the lord responds, "I will join you, but you have to let go of the crab and the selfish. I don't like them." You're the boss. Maybe that lord kept an old grudge or vendetta against the poor crab and selfish, or just liked his seafood. Seafood consumption kinda feels like cannibalism when playing this game, but you get to keep the seahorse, which is now upgraded to a badass influence point seahorse because it no longer is in your hand. Oh well, just another ally with abandonment issues that now might help me win. If the available lords aren't good enough to satisfy your plans of abysmal domination, you may bring in another lord by means of bribery. A pearl is all that is needed for that greedy fish to show its scales on the board. As you continue exploring the abyss during the game, you might come across some monsters that yield rewards when defeated. The reward of the next monster becomes more generous if you choose to ignore that evil threat, but 9 out of 10 times you won't ignore it. It is expected in such occasions to have a rudimentary battle system, but no, this is the dark abyssal abyss, we won't waste time with such details. You either kill the bloody thing or you don't. It's a binary system. Speaking of binaries, there are only 1 or 2 cases of monster rewards, since no player with common logic and probability awareness is going to leave the reward to skyrocket for the next player who will be lucky enough to encounter a monster card. So don't expect to be getting any keys as a monster reward, unless of course your gaming group are a bunch of ravenous baboons. Keys are essential. 3 keys grant you access to a location that gives even more points that might help you win, but the same mechanic with the abyss exploration applies. You want better locations? You want more options? Fine, just be a gentleman and leave some out in the open for other players to take, if they see it fits their plans for abysmal domination. Balance in this game truly becomes a lesson in equality. I was always trying to convince the other players to further explore, since all their leftovers were potentially mine for the taking, but if another player before me had an IQ above the room's temperature, he might take some of those leftovers. So, you have an abyss to explore, but you're always leaving breadcrumbs for other players to play with, like you're some dimwit who can't handle his own stuff. There is a council that totally lacks initiative and will join anyone who is lucky enough to have cards left over there when it is their turn to play, like picking fruit that fell off a tree. And you have lords that join anyone who can cut a good deal for them as long as it feeds their cannibalistic urges. The balance of theme and mechanics isn't a thing that's always cherished or taken into account. Abyss has theme thrown off a balcony like scientists threw Doomsday off a balcony to make him stronger. The theme is now so strong that every Jedi senses that the theme is strong with this one, but it is only because it's the dark side coming to bring balance to the force of theme over mechanics. After choosing 1 out of the 3 options in this game for a few times and end up with 7 lords of the 7 lords of the abyss, the end is near. Being a gentleman one last time, you allow the rest of the players to lose, play 1 last round, and then see what your little abyssal dominion is worth. The game is for ages 14+, but its company has insight on this generation's intellect and math skills and has added small scoring pieces of paper just in case someone wasn't paying attention on how to add numbers back in elementary school. People I played the game with got this vibe of poker style hidden under the theme. I think the designers, although prolific, if the circumstances would be different, might have ended up with a game sounding like this.